Kazakhstan is one of the most multinational countries which gathered representatives of more than 130 ethnicities and nations. Each ethnicity has unique traditions, inimitable holidays, interesting stories and amazing recipes. Recipes of kindness and peace, recipes of respect to your own roots and other people's culture, recipes for friendship.
Hello, this is the recipe for friendship. My name is Alevtina Madyarova. Day after day, together we learn the peculiarities of the customs and culture of the numerous peoples inhabiting Kazakhstan. And today I invite you to Japanese house of Ichikawa, where we are going to see a lot of amazing things. Today we're going to explore the world of traditional arts of Japan, and we will find out what is temari and how to make it. So ki means leg and te is hand. Yes, it was made from leather. Kids used to kick it with their feet, but when it slowly turned to be handy toy. Handy toy for children. However, after a little while, people started to decorate them, and noble women began to compete in delicacy of their patterns. We'll cook rice pies, onigiri. Kanki-san, it's so easy, so fast, and so beautiful. Sadesu ne sadesu. And at the same time, you teach me Japanese. You have tremendous talent because it's very easy to understand you. So, good, very good. We learn how to draw an hieroglyph that will bring you luck. Calligraphy develops such personality aspects as perseverance, patience, and conceptual foresight. Why? Because before you write an hieroglyph, you need to consider where it will be located. Here you have a battlefield, and you as a strategist, as a tactician, should see how do you put this? What feelings do you have to express here? And we'll even meet a dragon that can play music. When Larissa Town decided to start studying the Japanese language, she did not even know how far all this could go. The fascination with Japanese culture led to amazing changes in her life, and now everything in her life, work, family, and hobbies are full of Japan, and she, together with her spouse, Kanki-san, and their children, bring the culture of the country of the rising sun to the Kazakhstani people. The soul must also be fed as well as the body, and I have already transformed myself into Japanese side because I already became interested in Japanese culture. I simply fell in love with it. And when I had already learned the language, everyone knew this was one of my biggest dreams. But since I'm just an ideologist, I don't have enough energy to realize all this. My daughter Anna said, "Well, come on, Mom, come on, let's do as you want." And now she has gathered a group, founded Japanese language courses where we do not just teach the language, we help people to learn the Japanese language through Japanese culture. Dreams tend to come true, and what is destined to us can sometimes be embodied in the most unexpected and miraculous way. My whole life is some kind of a pattern of miracles or something like this. Even some tragic moments in my life turn into something positive. It somehow gives a push to me so that I can move in some direction. If not for these tragic events, I would be sitting at home and doing nothing, engaged only with house chores. And now it would seem that this is the insignificant step, just go study a foreign language. I went to the Japanese Center to learn Japanese, but starting from that moment, my life has changed dramatically. I had the opportunity to go to Japan to study. I met a lot of good people who are still helping me to grow, to develop my Japanese house. I met Kanki-san, my current husband, who helps me to make my dreams come true. And now we have some common dreams, common goals. In general, we decided that we must live at least 150 years, otherwise we won't have enough time to turn this all into reality. One of the most important rules of the Japanese way of life is that it's never too late to learn new things. Do sports, learn a musical instrument, paint a picture, it doesn't matter if you're 9 years or 90 years old. You can do anything you want. So we started with music, together with Evgeny, Larissa's son. This instrument is called koto. It's more than 1,000 years old and it came to Japan from China. This is not its original appearance. It has undergone changes. It is not in the ancient shape that it had when it got to Japan for the first time. There are koto that have 13 strings, and in general, koto can have up to 80 strings. But it was mentioned already. There's not 7 notes here, right? There are not 7 notes, there are 5, but maybe that's why the sounds are a bit mysterious, unusual. Koto's shape resembles a dragon lying on the shore, and just like a resting dragon exudes calmness and wisdom, just as the sounds of koto carry us on the waves of the grateful joy and peace. The shape of this instrument resembles a dragon resting on the seashore, and as you can see, generally it's not decorated in any way. It's not common custom to decorate it, but the carving inside is beautiful. Of course, they say that this is for better sound, but I think that there is also deeper sense that it's just like a person. We mustn't judge it by the cover. All the beauty is hidden in its soul inside, and you can see it in its sounds. Each of the 13 strings of the koto is given a name, and these names correspond to the names of virtue that you can develop in yourself while playing music. For example, there is a string of the military art, grace, philanthropy, and honor. And when you play this instrument, you engage all these qualities, what you need, and this all affects your nature. You mean that it's some kind of musical therapy? Yes. Well, it is, I think, it's some kind of a magical or shamanic instrument. And the Japanese, they generally believe that everything related to art is given from above, from heaven. This is difficult to argue with. Music, calligraphy, any art, Japanese really appreciate a person who has at least some talent. Famous sakura melody. The Japanese admire sakura. While these flowers, and not the apple tree or plum tree, although a lot of these flowers bear fruit, the fact is that the sakura tree has no fruits, and it's very beautiful. It blossoms and falls only in 3 days, and its flowers doesn't fall on the ground in one piece, lying around, but the petals in particular, they fly from a gust of wind, and it seems that it's snowing. They have piles of the petals there, everything is covered with sakura, and when the wind blows, it looks like it's snowing in the spring. And while Yevgeny was playing, we could hear how the petals fly through the air. And the Japanese admire this, not just admire but sympathize with the short life of this flower. Because it blossoms and dies after 3 days, it falls down, and they believe that human life is just as instantaneous, fleeting as sakura flowers. As already mentioned, the musical structure of the koto is different from the European one. There are only 5 notes. There is a very convenient pentatonic system, all goes very intuitive. You can take any sequence of strings and some melody will turn out, and this is the beauty of the koto. Well, the instrument is built largely on intuition. Try just to pluck any string, then go to any other, and here is a small melody. Great. This instrument can create the impression that I can play, although it's not true. It's amazing. Indeed, there is something that excites my imagination, kind of joy. Well, at least I want to learn it. The Japanese admire all kinds of arts and all manner of display of talent. Well, one of the most respected is undoubtedly the art of calligraphy. Japanese kinds of art are associated with a very great patience, with a titanic calmness, how to develop it in yourself, how a person who is prone to city bustle can tune instantly to it. He runs all day and finally he comes to you. How he can change his mood. For this, at first we hold such relaxing sessions. We take a brush and try to express our emotions. If a person comes upset, he should express it to me on a sheet of paper using lines only. Melancholy, sadness, anger, fury, happiness, joy, all kinds of these emotions need to be expressed with lines. Every object, every tool here is created by hand, and a beginner should remember how much labor is invested into its hieroglyph even before the brush touches the paper. It requires a lot of work to make one such brush. So we choose the wood and we choose the wool. There are different kinds of it. After all, the horse's tail and squirrel and sables, and even were 5 species, 5 kinds of hair, yeah, and everything is like composed and mixed. The inkstone is made of soot, which is collected meticulously. Its smooth surface is smoothed with a lamp, then the soot is mixed with fish glue and with persimmon juice. The mixture is carefully compressed, dried, ground, and then placed on a desk. Is it common now, or is it rarity? Yes, even now there are still craftsmen who do it manually, although there are few nowadays. In Japan, which is famous throughout the world for its technologies, children learn the art of calligraphy throughout their school life. It's not just the art of beautiful writing, it's self-development philosophy. Calligraphy develops such personality aspects as perseverance, patience, and conceptual foresight. Why? Because before you write an hieroglyph, you need to consider where it will be located. Here you have a battlefield, and you as a strategist, as a tactician, should see how you should put this, what feelings you want to express. All the masters of martial arts were certainly engaged in this kind of art. All of the samurais also did this. Masters of the tea ceremony too. Fancy. And of course, after such a spiritual preparation, needlework like isakatogami or temari does not seem so difficult to master. Isakatogami, for example, is nothing more than the cutting of stencils from paper. The word ise in the title indicates that this is a craft from the city of Ise. The whole secret is that all the lines are connected with each other. When you cut out and hold it like this, the pattern does not fall apart. The purpose of the stencils had originally purely everyday meaning. With their help, the print was applied to a cloth for a kimono. Now such pictures decorate the interior. A graceful pattern is cut with a thin knife, and with a certain training, anyone who wants can master it. While how thin and intricate your picture will be when you complete it depends on the patience and diligence of the craftsman. Well, I've already got carried away, you see, and now by the contour cut, the antennas like this, and here you are, you have a complete butterfly. No less attention is required for embroidering of the temari balls. Modern craftsmen create threaded balls by wrapping a ready-made ball or balloon with a thread. Earlier, the middle part was a ball of old kimono scraps. Folding a ball out of a kimono and embroidering it with embroidery, the mother gave her daughter temari on her daughter's wedding day. This tradition is still alive, but in our culture the temari is rather a beautiful handmade souvenir, an interior decoration, or a Christmas tree toy. Our craftsmen probably already have some of their patterns, right, which may be different from Japanese. While in general, the patterns that came from Japan are traditionally used because those masters who promote this art in Europe and in Russia and in Kazakhstan, they use traditional Japanese patterns. And in Japan, there is a temari association with their study, and there is a rule that while you master does not allow you, you cannot compose patterns. Aysel Kabimbetova has been fond of this kind of needlework for about 10 years and teaches children and adults. In her hands, the work goes with a swing, and it seems that it's not difficult to create such beauty. However, as usual, there is no way without some experience, skill, and of course patience. For that, admire the beautiful result that can be in the end. Now, according to the scenario that has already become our tradition, I invite you to prepare a dish of national cuisine. Today, it will be just as simple as it is delicious, and Kanki-san will teach us. Well, it's hard to divide culture and cuisine, and it's usually when there is an opportunity to learn a new dish, we get an opportunity to get to know the people who are preparing it. This is Kanki-san. Meet Kanki-san, and today he will teach us how to cook onigiri. What is onigiri? How is it translated? So, onigiri are such rice pies, so kanega onigirimasu. Perfect. Where do we begin? Kanki Naoki teaches in the house of Ichikawa, his native language, and I admit from the very first meeting, I felt how easily and subtly he succeeded in this. How is rice in Japanese? Okome. Okome. Is it some special sort of rice you use, or is it any rice? Okome, any rice. Salt with water. You need to wash hands with this water, so it's not for the dish. Is it for washing the hands? Yes. Can I try? For sure. Rice balls are called nigiri. Onigiri are the same balls, but stuffed with something. Today we have the fish, the sea cabbage, roasted in a special way, the pickled Japanese plum. However, variations are pertinent and imagination is welcomed. Nori. Is nori the seaweed? So nori or hasamide kite. Hasamide. And hasamide is? Here, hasami is scissors. Hasamide, we cut it into strips. In order for the rice not to stick to the hands, they should be dipped in salt water, and the strips of nori serve not only as decoration, it is convenient to hold them to eat ready onigiri using your hands. That's all? Ready? Yes, really. And what do we need all these ingredients for? Katermas katemo. This is just a decoration. But apart from the fact that this decoration, I know that this is a very tasty thing. Yes, it's very tasty. You can put it like this. So look, and it's already beautiful. With fish, and how can I say fish in Japanese? Sakana, sakana. As you see, it's really a piece of cake. This dish can be referred to the category of everyday food, and it's quite common. Also, this is a fairly typical lunch that children take with them to school. And do your students also cook such things? Yes, sometimes. And then cook it at their house for their parents? Maybe, I don't know for sure. Kanki-san, it's so easy, so fast and so beautiful. Sedesu, nesedesu. And at the same time, you teach me Japanese. You have tremendous talent, because it's very easy to understand you. So good, very good. And what does hai mean? Hai means yes. Well done, thank you. And what should we tell after the food is ready? Itadakimasu. Well, itadakimasu, you have already known these words. The traditional phrase itadakimasu is usually said before eating. It translates as simply as enjoy your meal. It has the Buddhist origin. Buddhist, yes. It means I accept. Well, what do you accept? Life. All of this were life. This is life, this is also life, and this is life. Everything. Well, thanks to your life, we can live on. Itadakimasu. On this beautiful philosophical note, we will say goodbye for a little while. I wish you good luck and samurai calmness to all of you. Yours, Alevtina Madyarova.